Hey everybody, welcome to Poot's Garage. Today, before we get to the video, I want to start something a little bit different. So, I want to know, where are you from? Not in a creepy way, but if you notice there's a map up behind me. I got a nice world map. It's National Geographic, probably from about 1985. I did notice that it has Russia and not the USSR, so it's not that old. But anyways, what I'd like to do is, if you're watching this video, let me know where you're watching from, because I'm just curious about everything. So I just want to know where you guys are coming from, and when you do, I bought these little tiny red pins, like you would on a map, and I'll put a pin on your spot, just for fun. You know, it doesn't have to be too specific. Just, you know, the state, or even just the country, if that's what you want. And yeah, I'm just curious what you got. So let me know where you're listening from. What's up, everybody? Here's a quick update on how these axles are going behind us here. We're cleaning them up using the needle scaler. I'm pretty impressed with the way it's going. So let's give you a close-up of that. As you can see, it doesn't take it down to complete bare metal, but you can see some shiny bits showing through. So it's taking all the surface rust off and just, you know, getting all the loose stuff off. This is going to be perfect because I'm using Core 15, which actually likes to have a little bit of rust on the surface still anyways. You can see how dusty everything is. I haven't washed these off yet either, so once we actually clean these things, degrease them, and do all that stuff, and they'll look a lot cleaner. But you can see how much, obviously we're replacing this one, so I'm not worried about that, but you can see how it beats it up pretty good. Looks like I didn't actually hit that area too well, but we can go through there. But yeah, it cleans it all up. It gets all that thick baked on rust and grease and all that stuff off. Another little quick thing to look at when you're using these things. So because you're using them for hours and hours, there you see the end of my little quick connect fitting there. See how beat up it is there? So that's actually because not only are these needles bouncing around back and forth so much, but it's actually, you know, obviously your hand's vibrating a lot too, and it's actually causing the quick connect fitting to sit there and bounce rapidly on itself. So it's actually eating up that end of that quick connect fitting. So you might want to be prepared to replace those if you use them a lot. And then another thing that happened is my air hose is a really old air hose. It was already really cracked. You can see that's not good. I've been needing to replace it anyways, but it actually completely broke the end, and now it's starting to leak here. So I'm gonna cut this one off, put a new end on it, and then just use this as my backup because I went out and bought a new hose. So we'll get that going. I got a couple fittings in there too. Nice, another 50 feet of clean hose there. So we'll get that set up and continue on. We are finally done needling this front axle. Thank God, because that's a lot of work. So that's where we're at. You can see it looks kind of nice and shiny. Just needs to be cleaned up still and painted. Now, before I do anything else, I want to replace the shock mount with the new one that I got, that I showed previously. It's just held on by 2 welds, so we're gonna cut that off and then attempt to weld on the new one. Shouldn't go too bad. Problem I noticed is, so this shock mount doesn't look so bad, but the shock mounts I bought are actually narrower where the shock mounts. But then when I checked this truck, which has a Dana 44 under it, the shock mount is narrow like the one I already bought. So for some reason, these Dana 60s had a wider shock mount. I'm just gonna put those smaller ones on. I think the only difference between basically putting a shock on this setup here versus this one is you would be using the spacers that usually come with shocks to take up that extra gap. It's not really a strength issue or anything like that, because these things are so much more beefy, just metal-wise, than the stock ones. So, but you can see the width difference there. There's a little bit there, and it's a lot closer to the Dana 44 shock width. mount all removed. This is the new one sitting in place where it's gonna get welded back on. Yeah, we basically just used a level on the back flat side here with the, used my phone basically and just kind of rotated the axle. So this is perfectly 90 degrees. And then just transferred my phone over here and measured it at 90 degrees also. So let's get this thing welded on. Well, I was gonna weld that shock mount on, but the old welding hood batteries are dead. So I gotta run to the store and grab some of these in the morning so I can resume this tomorrow. Dana 60 with the new shock mounts on. Looking good, looking beefy. And you can also see that our floor is a complete mess. So that is all the junk that we have cleaned off of this axle. So it looks a lot better right now. Next for this is going to be to actually degrease it and then start getting it ready for the whole pour 15 and all that good stuff. But I think before I jump into actually cleaning and painting this one, I gotta clean this one up. So I kinda gotta start the whole process over. This side will be a lot easier though, because I don't have the big knuckles and stuff to, you know, spend multiple days on doing. This one here I could probably get done in, you know, a couple days, hopefully. So that's where we're at. How pretty these things look right now. Oh, I never intend stuff to look this nice, but this is after 2 coats of pour 15. That's just the brush on. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing a 3rd spray coat of their chassis black, so it's going to dull the paint out a little bit, but just that high gloss pour 15 is it's actually nice stuff. I love this stuff, to be honest. I use it on everything. If anybody follows me for a while, you'll know that this stuff goes on so well. And that's just with paintbrush. This stuff just smooths out on its own so well. So you can see all of our rust pitting and stuff that we're covering up. But yeah, I've went through all the processes, the pour 15 degreaser, and then they're prep and ready. And that stuff just ate up, you know, any other rust that was left on. I mean, there's still some rust on there, no doubt, but it ate it up pretty good. You can see how it eats it up there. Turns it into something other than rust, that's for sure. So, looking good.